Krishna. I was talking to a friend about, she was telling me she had memorized some of Rupert Spira's prayers and some of his words. And I'm curious what you say about the difference between prayer and meditation. Or what's alike and what's different, maybe.
Yeah. Well, it depends on what people mean by prayer and what people mean by meditation, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there are forms of meditation that are prayer, and there's forms of prayer that are meditation. But generally speaking, meditation is prayer without words and without thought. And some people would say, therefore, it's not prayer because there's no words. But a shift of attention ultimately to include more. There's some things that are meditation that are simply focusing on a thing to the exclusion of everything else. But that's just to start. It's the non-use of the thinking mind. So if you put your attention on, let's say, your breath, eventually more is let in than just the breath. Not through any act of will on your part, but just by nature, just naturally. Silence or expansion or awareness of awareness begins to make itself known. If you're quiet, at first you're placing your attention somewhere, but then after a while, your attention isn't placed anywhere. And you find that quiet is very loud. Presence of absence is the presence of the divine other. So meditation becomes prayer in that sense. Prayer at the beginning, using words, is this first, you could say, step in prayer. Is the door. And the words should be an opening. not just a proclamation, but an opening. So the word prayer actually means ask. It's asking.
Mm.
Mm. So I pray. Tell me. It's an opening. So the most powerful prayer are words which are an invitation. They can also be very powerful when they're from the heart, true for you. I mean, some prayers are written down and you know what you're going to say before you say it. And in that case, they should be opening, very much opening, asking, opening for participation, for meeting. If it's a prayer that's from the heart, that is not known before it's uttered, the most important thing is that it's spoken from the heart, meaning from the emotions, from feeling, not from mind, not from thought so much as from what is true for you. And that can be very, very powerful because of its honesty. And if it's spoken in direct honesty, then it's only the prayer without thoughts or images or ideas beyond the prayer. At first, you might need thoughts or ideas. Yeah, you might think of Durga or Jesus or Padmasambhava. You can visualize them, think of them. But for prayer to go really deep, once there's a sense of any presence, then to let go of all of images and simply speak the prayer without the thought of the one to whom you're praying. You're actually in the presence of absence. And in the presence of absence, you're praying. In the presence of no image, you're praying. In the presence of mystery, of presence without knowing, using the mind to circumscribe what Durga is, who Durga is, what Jesus is, who Jesus is, what God is, who God is. Simply praying to that God that is beyond any images and listening. And then that prayer is meditation. One, you use words and ideas to start, and the other, you shed ideas and words to start. In both cases, once you contact presence and you're in communion with presence, you're in the same place. You start with a notion of other, and that notion of other becomes inadequate when you meet presence. You may start with a notion of no other when you meditate, and exclusion. So there is no other. There's only absence, or you could say there's only you, but not even you. There's total emptiness, if you will. And no other, or emptiness becomes an inadequate term. In the face of presence of silence, being in communion with the presence.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Viv.